Hey guys, so Merry Christmas. Hope you guys are having a good holiday season. This is actually a special bonus episode that has nothing to do with anything that we actually have recorded. But a couple months ago, I did an entire segment just about Teen Wolf where I went on about like a 40-minute rant just talking about Teen Wolf while Nick was just quiet the entire time. Now, the episode that you guys heard, it was shortened down to 10, but for Christmas, we decided, what the heck, let's just release the full 40-minute version. So I'm calling this Teen Wolf Manny's version to go off of the whole Taylor Swift stuff that's been happening this year. So I hope you guys enjoy this 40-minute discussion of me just ranting incomprehensibly about Teen Wolf. I I have gotten back into Teen Wolf, baby. Nick,
Sure.
they can't see the screenshot, but there's a screenshot where I say like, "Oh no, it's back. I'm gonna be real bad now."
It's about to get real bad.
Yeah, no. Teen Wolf is one of those shows that I unapologetically love. I understand it's campy. I understand it's teen melodrama. I understand it's not the best amount of storytelling or anything like that. I just love watching this show. And it's mainly because of Dylan O'Brien, because I love Dylan O'Brien.
You've
I
got a
think
big
he's
crush on Dylan O'Brien.
Listen, we don't have to get into this right now, but I do love Dylan O'Brien. um no, Dylan O'Brien, I've liked him in a lot of stuff that I've seen. I think that he's better than the work he's given, which was a theme for this weekend because there was also Miles Teller in Whiplash, who I also think is better than a lot of the stuff that he's in. Except for Whiplash and Spectacular Now. Those are the two things that he's genuinely really good in, and that I know he can do better. But Teen Wolf, have you seen the original film?
No.
Okay. Anyways, it has nothing to do with that, other than showing a couple of the
Oh,
characters'
okay.
names. It only shows like a couple of the characters' names. Like the coach in that movie is Coach Finstock, and in the show, it's Coach Finstock. I I I don't know if Michael J. Fox's character in the movie is also Scott McCall, but it's a Scott, so he's playing Scott and Scott. And I don't remember if, Styles Stilinski was in it or not. But that's pretty much where the similarities end, outside from a teenager becomes a werewolf. So, this first season was focused mostly on Scott becoming a werewolf. He gets bitten he gets bitten in the first episode, and you sort of see the different relationships that it actually opens up in that first episode alone. You get introduced to a group of hunters, you get introduced to another werewolf named Derek, you get introduced to his girlfriend, the best friend, the high school relationships, the teen bully, a lot of cliched stuff, right? But it's cute. I was talking to a friend of mine, Amy, who I'll have on the show for talking about Taylor Swift. Teases for things to come. We were talking. We're saying,
I will
like,
not be there.
Man, yeah, you won't be there. I'll be there because I enjoy getting yelled at about my opinions on Taylor Swift. Not really, but Nick just didn't want to do that, and I support women, so go Taylor.
Sorry. That caught me off guard.
Yeah. Anyway,
Sorry.
the first season revolves mostly around Scott being a whiny little baby brat and saying like, "I don't want the powers. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that." He's like if Spider-Man was just ungrateful for everything that was ever given to him, which, I mean, understandable. You're turned into a werewolf. You got bitten. Like, I get it. But he's like if Peter just didn't accept the responsibility for a lot of the show. But then eventually he does, come around and he's like, "Fine, I'll do this, but I want to get rid of the powers." Uh-oh, there's no way to get rid of the powers. He's stuck with them. And so we start the second
I hate when
season.
that happens.
Yeah. And so we start the second season. I guess I'll spoil Teen Wolf right now. Nick, you're not going to watch it, right?
No, I do not care one iota. You can go right
Awesome,
ahead.
cool. I'm spoiling Teen Wolf right now. Go watch it on Amazon. Go watch it on Paramount Plus. Go watch it on Hulu. It's on those 3 services right now. Teen Wolf. So the whole tension of season 1 is that Scott's girlfriend, Allison, she comes from a family of hunters, but she doesn't know that she comes from a family of werewolf hunters. So her dad and her aunt are essentially trying to hunt down the werewolves and see who's doing all the killings, because there's been some killings
No way.
in Beacon Hills. And so, listen, I don't appreciate. Okay, keep going with it. So trying to figure out who's doing all the killings, because the werewolf that supposedly bit Scott, his name is Derek, right? He doesn't know what's going on either, but he knows that there's an alpha out there that is doing all this stuff. We find out that the person that A bit Scott and B has been doing all the murders is actually Derek's uncle, Peter, who we thought was immobilized after the Hale House fire, which was 6 years ago, that burned all of Derek's family except for him, his uncle, and his sister. His sister is
Derek.
dead at the beginning of the show. No, yeah, because
Of
the
course.
hunters, because the hunters set the house on fire. Because they're like, well, they're a bunch of werewolves. We got to go kill them. But there were innocent people in there. And there's a code that hunters adhere to where they don't kill any minors, they don't kill any innocents, and they don't kill any werewolves that they don't have proof has shed blood, that have killed humans before. So, at the end of season 1, we find out that Allison's aunt, Kate, who, did you ever watch Wipeout?
The reality show?
Uh-huh.
Maybe a couple episodes here and there.
Okay, because one of the hosts on that show, Jill Wagner, she plays a werewolf hunter in this show.
Okay. Okay, sure.
But not only that, she groomed a young werewolf to lead her to the house to then set him on fire and burn him alive.
What?
Oh my god.
She groomed a young werewolf?
Yeah. So he was in like high school and she groomed him to like, I mean, you groom someone. He, I guess, like opened up to her about like, oh, like this is what I am, here's my family and all this other stuff. And then she set the house on fire. But the code is you're not supposed to kill minors. He was a minor. And she had done it before and stuff.
Not the code. She broke the code.
Listen, the code is a big thing in this show, okay? The entire second season, they're like, because Allison's dad, he's a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy, in the words of Zangief from Wreck-It Ralph. He's an antagonistic force, but he's not a terrible person. And, you know, going further into the show, you see more of that. But he adheres to the code very strictly. He doesn't kill minors, and he doesn't kill anyone that they don't have proof has killed someone before. So at the beginning of season 2, we get the grandfather who comes in. His name is Gerard. He's a sickly old man. Let me see if I can find a GIF and send it to you right now.
Okay.
But he comes in, and he's like, there is no code anymore. And now they're just starting a war with anyone. Like, anyone that they think is a werewolf. And it's fantastic to see all the tension between everyone. Okay, well, I cannot seem to find any Gerard gifts, which I wonder why. He's a 70-year-old man. Certainly he would, you know, have a lot of gifts of himself. But he's essentially trying to start a war. And Scott is trying to not let Derek make more werewolves, because after he killed the alpha in season 1, Derek is now the alpha. That's how the season ends. It ends with Derek going, I'm the alpha now. Oh my god. It's so cheesy and it's so campy.
Look at me,
and
I'm the captain now.
It's literally that. His eyes go from blue to red, because if you're an alpha, your eyes turn red. If you're not, then it's like a blue or a yellow. You can be like an omega, which is someone that isn't with a pack, that's just going at it alone. Oh my god. There's a whole lore about this. But anyways, he starts off season 2 and he's trying to He's trying to he's trying to get more werewolves to be in his pack because Scott doesn't want anything to do with it. So he's got three: Boyd, I forgot the other one, and then Isaac. Isaac sticks around the longest. He stays for another 2 seasons or so. The others, spoiler alert, they die at the end of this season. I'm pretty sure.
Oh no.
But he recruits them because all of them have something that they wish that they could, reverse. Did you ever watch The Flash?
No.
Okay, anyways. There was the old Flash TV show, right? Played by John Wesley Shipp. John Wesley Shipp plays an abusive father in Teen Oh my God. It's so funny because like in Flash and then in the CW Flash and stuff, he's like this nice loving father who was wrongly accused for murdering his wife, or he's playing Jay Garrick from a different Earth and all this other stuff. And then you come to Teen Wolf and he's playing this abusive father who like he's nagging on his kid about his grades and stuff. He's like, oh well, tell me the grade. And he's like, I'm at a D right now. He's like, all right, well there's still time to get it up. A D's not bad. And he's like, how about this? Your punishment will be you clean up the kitchen and you do the dishes and you take out the trash and then we'll be good. And he's like, really? And it's like, yeah. And so he starts breaking glasses on the floor. He starts throwing cups at his son. He gets like a bookshelf to like knock over on him. Glasses exploding and it almost tears his son's eye out, but then he heals right in front of him. And Isaac runs because he's like, oh my God, I can't let my dad know that I'm a werewolf. But then his dad dies.
Sure. This is an MTV show, right?
This is an MTV show, and I love it.
I was just making sure. That's the only network that can get away with this shit, I think.
Oh, and a lot of shirtless
or the CW.
And a lot of shirtless people in Teen Wolf.
Good.
Naturally. Yeah, so that's like Isaac's whole story. And then there's another one. I don't remember her name, but she she has seizures. So like it starts. So like there's a scene. The first introduction that we had to her is them like doing like rock climbing walls and stuff. So she's trying to climb up this wall, but she starts seizing, and so they have to bring her back down. And so they're like, trying to take care of her. They're making sure that she's okay and all this stuff. Then she does it again when no one's around, and she goes without like a harness and stuff, and she starts seizing up again. And so she falls back, but Scott rescues her, but they take her to a hospital. And in that hospital, Derek kidnaps her from her room, puts her into another room, locks the door, and essentially starts like being like, oh, like what if you didn't have all these other things? What if I took away all of the bad stuff and your height and all of your senses were heightened and all this other stuff? And so she agrees. And then take a guess at what happens next. She comes into school the next day and she looks hot. And that's how you know that she's changed from a normal person to a werewolf.
Oh my God.
Nick, the show is amazing.
This must be what people sound like when I explain wrestling storylines.
Or when you explain Bond. Oh my God, it's fantastic. It's great. I absolutely love this show. Oh, but I didn't mention. So at the end of season 1, right? Allison's dad.
Sure.
Allison's, family, they know that Scott is a werewolf now. So we start off season 1 with the two of them like making out in the car like hardcore. They're in the middle of nowhere. They're in like someone's car. I don't remember if it's Scott's. I think it's Scott's car. They're making out. And then a door opens and an arm gets Scott out of the car, puts him on the hood, holds a gun to his face, and and Allison starts saying like, no, Dad, no, don't do it. I promise I'll stop seeing him. Just don't kill him. I promise I'll stop seeing him. And he's like, never again. Oh my God.
Is it a shotgun? Please tell me it's a shotgun.
No, it's a pistol.
Oh, damn it.
Oh my God. This show
I was hoping it was like those prom
so
photos
good.
with the dads with the shotgun.
No. Oh, but they do like foreshadowing in season 1 because like you know that Allison's parents are werewolf hunters before she does. And so like she invites Scott over and they're like doing all this other stuff, they're studying, and then like she's like, oh, I want to show you like a talent that I had as a kid. And so she goes to an old box because they just moved into this town, and she picks up a bow and arrow and she aims at his face like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "I used to do archery and all this other stuff." And so they set up her like doing archery and stuff, and then it comes back into the season finale of season 1 because at that point her aunt has already told her like, "Yo, we hunt werewolves." And so she starts shooting at Derek and Scott to immobilize them, and then when her aunt is like, "All right, now kill them," she's like, "What? I'm not gonna kill them." Oh my god, it's fantastic. But season 2, the dad kidnaps her. The dad kidnaps her and himself to like be like, "Oh, like tell me where these people are," blah 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 blah. And then they're like, "All right, now your training begins." It's like, "I held you hostage because of this reason to begin your training." And so she's given like something and she has to get out of it. And so she gets out and one of the guys is like 2.5 hours, not bad. No, she gets out of the house after like, cutting a rope to untie herself, and he's like, "Not bad." And she's like, "It took me 2.5 hours." Like, "It took me 3 my first time." It's like, ah.
This is
Listen,
cinema.
I love this show. It is so
I'll never watch this
good.
show, but it sounds just as stupid as I always hoped it would.
It is so stupid, but I love it. And I haven't even gotten to like other characters. Like, oh, we'll get into it right now. All right, so you have
Okay.
I forgot his name. Colton Haynes. Colton Haynes. He's from Arrow. Does a lot of drag shows and stuff. But he seems like a cool person. Ah man, what's his name? I gotta look it up now. I gotta look it up.
Okay.
Colton Haynes. He is Teen Wolf. I'm sorry, folks. You can just cut all this stuff out.
Oh, I will.
All casting crew. 100 episodes of this show. Fantastic.
100 episodes of this show?
Jackson. All right. So, Colton Haynes plays Jackson, and he's the star lacrosse player because, to quote him, "Football? Are you kidding me? It's a joke. The sport here is lacrosse."
I haven't seen that much. My dog's gonna have to go outside in a second. I haven't seen that much or heard that much lacrosse propaganda since the first American Pie movie where they play lacrosse instead of football in it.
Damn near every episode of this show has lacrosse in it.
Oh my god.
But he's the star lacrosse player, and he's dating Lydia, which we stand Lydia. Lydia's a queen in this household. But she's the popular girl that everyone thinks is really dumb, but she has a genius IQ level. So they're dating each other. And when Scott becomes a werewolf, all of his senses get heightened, so he becomes really good at lacrosse. And Jackson pushes him against the locker. He's like, "Where are you getting your juice?" And Scott goes, "What?" He's like, "Where are you getting your juice?" And he goes, "Huh?" And then so I start talking about steroids because he thinks that he's talking about steroids. But really, oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm just fumbling over myself because of how good it is. But Scott essentially just has a breakdown. It's like, "You want to know where I'm getting all this? Because so would I, okay? 3 months ago, I couldn't do this and that. And now I can hear people from a mile away. And I have senses like a dog." And there's all this stuff. It is the most melodramatic, overproduced show that I've ever seen. And I love... Okay, that's not true.
In the best ways.
It's a melodramatic, overdramatic show, but yes, in the best ways. And it's a very enjoyable show.
It's no Bachelor in Paradise.
Nick, I would rather watch all... Let's see. 6, but 5 and 6 are 2 seasons. So 8. I would rather watch all 8 seasons of... Well, if we're counting 5 as 2 seasons as well, because it was double length, I would watch all 9 seasons of Teen Wolf again instead of watch another episode of Bachelor in Paradise.
I'm just gonna put that in our Discord. Let Elena know.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a very cliched show. So yeah, Jackson like starts panicking, and then eventually he finds out, and he's like, "I want to get bit." I want to get scratched. I want to become a werewolf and all this other stuff. But every time that he goes to approach someone to be a werewolf, he's just scared the entire time. He's like, guys, I'd like to be a werewolf. And he's just like voice troubling and all this other stuff. So in season 2, he does get bit by Derek to become a werewolf, but he
Oh no.
can't turn into a werewolf. So he turns into a Kenema. And a Kenema is a werewolf who should be a werewolf, but he's stunted emotionally by his growth, so he can't become one. And he's
What?
just stuck as a lizard.
Sure, why not?
I love this show. The character development. It's fantastic.
Oh, just amazing character development. Those characters, they're so well developed.
Some of them are. Like I'm just like going like very simple with a lot of these characters and stuff, but like Styles' dad is the chief of he's like the sheriff in the town and stuff. And he lost his mother to cancer. So you see him like whenever his dad is in danger or whenever Styles is in danger and stuff, he's always worried about his dad because that's the last, sense of family that he has. And Scott is essentially his brother throughout the entire show because he didn't have all this stuff. And you have other characters like I really like the character of Lydia because she, grew up very wealthy. She didn't really have to worry about a whole lot of stuff, but she essentially feels like she needs to play down her intelligence to please other people and to like get popular and go places and stuff. Because in that bowling scene that I sent to the group chat and stuff, there's a bowling scene in there, right? But she's like pretending that
Okay.
she doesn't know how to bowl or that she's a girl and she doesn't know smart stuff and all other stuff. But they have a parent-teacher conference and all this other stuff. And one of the teachers is like, oh, yeah, Lydia's a great student, and all this stuff. And she's like, but her parents are like, all right, now give us what the bad news is. It's like, oh, I didn't know there was bad news. It's like, she has a genius level IQ. I'd like to get her tested. And she's like, she's very good socially, very popular and all this other stuff. But she experiences a lot of trauma in the show because at the end of season 1, she gets scratched. I believe it's scratched. She gets scratched by Peter.
Scratched.
Yeah, she gets scratched by Peter, and so she's bleeding out, and they don't know if she's gonna make it. And so they're like, oh, like, is she gonna make it? And she turns out to be just fine. And so they're like, is she a werewolf? But she doesn't turn. Turns out she's a banshee, so she's a harbinger of death.
Of course.
And so when someone like dies or like when she senses something, because like she'll sense like something's about to go wrong or something like that, but like specific circumstances and stuff, like she'll dream or if she's in a house or something like that, she'll sense that something's wrong, and so she'll scream like a banshee to alert people that something wrong is going on. But anyway, Lydia's a fun character. I also love Allison.
Sounds like
and Scott. Listen, Scott is an emotionally abusive boyfriend that entire first season. He's the worst. He's a terrible human being. Like, just completely gaslighting his girlfriend, emotionally abusing her. Like, they're in the school late at night because they're trapped in there by Peter. And so he essentially says like, no, I'll go and I'll do it. But none of them know that he's a werewolf except for Styles. Styles knows from the first episode. And I love that for them.
Of course, yes.
But so he essentially locks them all in the room and they all think that they're going to die. And Scott's about to kill them because Peter used some like sense or whatever to make Scott want to kill his friends and stuff. So he's about to kill them. But just in time, Styles' dad with the rest of the police force come in and save them from the school. But they still think that Scott just left them for dead and that he wasn't going to open the door to let them all out and get out of the school and stuff. So she breaks up with him. But then,
But
for
wait,
no reason
there's
at all.
more.
For no reason at all, they get back together at the end of the season. Maybe like episode 10? No, 9. Yeah, episode 9, because that's the... No, wait. 12 episodes, episode 11. Episode 11 is the winter formal.
Okay.
And so they don't really, like, go together, because he asked Jackson to take her because he doesn't know, like, if she still likes him and all this other stuff. But he asked her to take her, when they see each other at the formal, they reconnect, they say I love you, they start dancing and kissing, and then boom, they know what's gonna happen. Like, oh, the Hale House. Oh, your aunt. Oh, she's gonna kill, like, blah blah blah. She doesn't say that, but oh no, now I remember what it was. So Allison and Scott, they leave to go do the McBang Bang in the bus. Because this is something that was brought up in like episode 3.
Hold on. They do the what in the bus now?
So at the beginning of episode like 3 or 4, Scott has a dream. Or maybe it's episode 2. Scott has a dream that him and Allison are about to get freaky in the bus. But Scott can't control his werewolf instincts, so he ends up clawing her to death and killing her. But
Okay. Yep. Keep going.
But it was all a dream. But you wake up the next morning and you realize that the bus driver actually was attacked in the bus. And so you're like, what is going on? So it turns out that him and the Alpha, Peter, are connected in some way. And Peter went to go attack the bus driver because he had something to do with the Hale House fire that ended up burning, that scarred like half of his face and killed the rest of his family. So the entire motivation for him the entire season is that he's going only after people, he's only killing people that were associated with the fire that burned his family and half of his face, which is a good motivation. And it's, an interesting mystery for most of the show of like, okay, well, who's the Alpha? Like, who are we trying to, take care of? He's introduced early on enough. They see a symbol and they're like, do you know what this means? They're like, yeah, I do, but it can't mean anything because my uncle is incapacitated. He's in a wheelchair. He doesn't speak. His face is, burned up, half scarred and all this other stuff. So, like, it can't be him until I don't remember exactly what it was. It was something. And they realized, oh my God, it's Peter Stiles. You got to get out of the hospital right now. But yeah, sorry, going back to it. So they leave the formal and they're going to go to a bus and they like recreate the scene from the second episode, like the same movement, the same laugh and all this other stuff. But like she's standing at the door to go inside and they're like, I'm getting some real deja vu from this or something along those lines. So she gets inside, she's looking at him through the window, she's blowing him kisses, and then boom, one car on his left. Boom, another car on his right. He looks, it's Allison's dad. And then the cars drive into each other. Scott jumps, lands on the hood of both of them, and he's turned into a werewolf. Now Allison knows that he's a werewolf, and he has to run.
This sounds incredible.
I love this show, Nick.
Not good, but incredible. Yeah, I don't think I've ever talked about something as passionately as you've been talking about Teen Wolf for like the last half hour.
Listen, when we get to Avatar, okay, I will eventually talk about that as passionately as I have about Teen Wolf.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Avatar for me.
No.
Avatar.
No, when I talk about Last Airbender, you'll see me get even more passionate about this. I just really enjoy watching Teen Wolf. It is the right amount of campy, fun, melodramatic stuff that I need in my life. And it might be that, like, I don't say, like, I grew up with it, but, like, I would see my brother and sister watch it and stuff. There's one episode in particular that I remember from season 3 where they're throwing a rave, and like that's the first time that we see. Well, I mean we see it throughout the show, but like we see, Allison and Scott have already broken up by this point, and she's dating Isaac, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, there's a joke about a girl asked Styles like, "Oh, you like girls?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I don't know why that stuck out to me, but there's an entire scene where they're at like a rave and stuff, and it's cool. But anyways, I should probably explain why I decided to rewatch Teen Wolf. There's a Teen Wolf movie coming out maybe next year on Paramount Plus. After fans clawed for season 7 because they want more Teen Wolf. I don't know if I do because season 6 wasn't very good. But they want season 7, and so they're like, okay, we'll give you a movie, and so we're excited to see what's gonna happen with the movie. We know that Scott is gonna be back, Tyler Posey is gonna be reprising that role, but everyone started making memes. They're saying like Dylan O'Brien ignoring all of the calls for the Teen Wolf movie because we don't know if he's in it yet.
So you're telling me that they get 6 seasons in a movie?
Yeah, they got 6 seasons in a movie. They did the Community.
6 seasons in a movie. Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen,
I couldn't remember what show that reference was from. Now I remember.
Community. Yeah. I mean, they did that thing. Did Dexter do it as well, where they split like a season into two parts so they'd have like 5A and 5B?
That was Sopranos and Breaking Bad. Dexter just had 8 straight seasons.
Breaking Bad. That's the one that I'm thinking of then. Because Teen Wolf ended up doing the same thing as well. And Stranger Things is doing the same thing, where they're like, all right, so season 3 is going to be season 3A and season 3B. But they're like two completely different storylines, and I'm like, why not just call them season 3 and season 4? But anyway, they're season 3A, season 3B. Season 5 is 20 episodes and not split into two parts. And then season 6 is season 6A and season 6B. So, and 6A isn't terrible, but 6B is just like, why did you keep going with this? And they make a lot of dumb decisions in 6B, and it doesn't help that most of the cast is gone by that point. So the only ones that are left are Scott and Malia. But then like the younger group, but yeah.
I was just gonna say, any show that goes on that long, you're gonna have like barely any of the original cast back. Especially a show where characters actually die on a regular basis. Like Walking Dead has, I think, 2 characters from the first season now. Yeah.
I can think of at least 2 characters. Well, 2 characters that definitively die in the show. A couple of them come back. 1 comes back. 2 comes back. 3 comes back? Like 3 or 4 characters come back from the dead and stuff. But 2 of them were pretty major deaths, and they stay dead. But they do acknowledge them in a really... Okay, we're just doing full spoilers. Anyways, Allison dies in season 3.
Not Allison.
Listen, Nick, you say it like that.
Not gonna lie, I don't remember who this is.
Allison is Scott's girlfriend from season 1 and season 2. They break up in season 3.
The one whose family is werewolf hunters.
Yeah. So...
Yes, okay.
So she dies in season 3. And they honor her death in, I believe, season 4. Like, Scott ends up holding her even though they weren't dating at the time. Because they were each other's one true love. I'm sorry.
You're choking up.
But he holds her in, her dying moments and stuff. Then they kind of just don't acknowledge it. But then they bring it back. And I think season 5. Season 5 has a really touching moment because they have this senior tradition where they go into the library. Because this is a school with a library. And not just like a room. A library. Multiple floors. Railings. Everything. It's a library. But they go to this place in the library where seniors sign their initials and stuff. So you have like SS for Styles Stilinski or SM for Scott McCall, LM, Lydia Martin, all this other stuff. So Scott writes his initials, and then before he goes, he writes AA for Allison Argent. Oh my God. It's so cute, and it's so touching, and it's such a nice tribute to her. And then the actress comes back to play her ancestor in an episode talking about how,
of course,
her family defeated the beast and stuff. But the character doesn't come back at all. The character is completely dead, gone. Like, Allison is dead. But that tribute.
This reminds me of all the weird shit I ever hear about Riverdale.
Oh my! Listen, do not compare this show to Riverdale, okay? Don't.
Why not?
Don't.
You tell me why not.
Don't go anywhere. Nick, I need you to not compare it to Riverdale for my sake, please. Please. Riverdale wishes. Riverdale wishes it. No. Riverdale wishes it could be Teen Wolf. Okay. Don't you dare compare the 2 shows together. How dare you? This is why you won't be here for the Taylor Swift episode.
Yeah, that not no other reasons why I wouldn't be there for a Taylor Swift episode.
No, 100%, no other reasons. But yeah, that's Teen Wolf. They have a lot of interesting stuff. I think
you discussed it pretty thoroughly. Yeah.
Oh no! Wait, hold on. I got a couple other things I got to say. Okay,
I can't wait any longer. I have to let my dog outside. You can monologue if you want.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll be back.
So the coach in the show, Coach Finstock, he has this like just unrelenting wit that I really love. The actor who plays him is Orny Adams. And they did an interview last year for the reunion that they did, because they did a reunion. I did watch it. It was a Zoom reunion. I don't believe Crystal Reed was there, which was kind of sad. She plays Allison, for those unaware. But they did a reunion, and they were like, oh, so Orny, did you just like improv all of your lines? He's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I trusted the script writers 100% of the time. And then, like he says later, I never read a single script. But I just really love the coach character. He's always yelling at Styles, but his least favorite player is Greenberg, and they just make it a point of how much he hates Greenberg for no reason. He'll just start yelling at him the way that I don't know if you guys ever remember the vines where it's like, Patricia, all right, girl, you're doing great. Like, but he'd do that, but just completely nail into Greenberg. And then there was one other thing that I wanted to mention, and now I can't. Oh, Motel California. For those who have seen Teen Wolf, you know exactly that Motel California is by far the best episode of the season, or the series, I should say. I can't remember it exactly correct, but I remember that they're on their way to a lacrosse game. The bus breaks down, and they're now stuck at a motel, and it's really testing like everyone's relationships with each other, but there's also something spooky going on. That's what I remember for it, but in general, it's regarded as the best Teen Wolf episode, and I would agree, given that that's pretty much the only episode I can say by name is Motel California. Even before just hearing everyone talk about it, I'm like, Motel California, that's the best episode. Other than that, you have a couple characters that come in and out. Derek, he leaves after a couple seasons. He comes back for the finale. You have characters like Malia, who gets introduced in season 3B, which is the Void Style season, which is by far the best season. But you have that whole faction of Stelia and Stydia. Shippers, did you want Styles to end up with Malia or Lydia? I personally was a Stydia person. I think he works best when he's with Lydia. I think that they establish it very early on, even if it is just a platonic relationship, that they're meant to be with each other regardless, like even if it's not romantically, because in season 3 you have this plot line where they are each other's tether back into reality. So I thought that was a really good way to set up that if they do follow it, and if not, then you have that just really strong friendship relationship throughout the entire thing. You have characters like the sheriff, Styles' dad, who I really like because they just really work as a father-son. And then when you get to season 6, and you have the whole wild hunt aspect where Styles gets taken and erased from memory, and there's that scene where he goes to his dad and he's like, oh my god, it's you. And he's like, calm down, son, calm down. All right, now tell me, what's your name? And it's just like, oh my god, I'm forgotten. I am officially nobody. And they're trying to, remember Styles. And it's a really good season because even though Dylan O'Brien isn't in it a whole lot, the entire season is still about him. And it's just really good. But I'm pretty sure that's everything that I wanted to say about Teen Wolf for now. So
Are you sure?
I think so. I think I might
Anything
have.
else?
Did I spend
You've only
like
been going
an
on for
hour
about
talking about
45
Teen
minutes
Wolf?
monologuing.
Oh my god, I did spend like 45 minutes to an hour talking about Teen Wolf. Teen Wolf, it's good. I recommend you go watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on Hulu. It's on Paramount Plus. Movie comes out next year. It has nothing to do with the Michael J. Fox films. Go watch Teen Wolf. It's fun campiness.
I was like, we'll be making good time on this episode. We'll end at a reasonable time. It won't be too long. And then you said, all right, hold on. Hold my beer. Let's do 45 minutes of Teen Wolf.
Listen, I wanted to talk about Teen Wolf. You did 4 hours of Bond.
Yeah, but I didn't have you sitting here while I was doing 4 hours of Bond.
That is true. That is fair. 100%.
I apologize if I'll cut this part, but I apologize if I wasn't more involved in that conversation. I had to zone out at a couple points. I'm sorry.
No. You're perfectly fine. Don't even worry about it, brother. It was one of those conversations that was for me, that I just wanted to talk about Teen Wolf.